the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Lawyer Paul Admochre exclusively Ochechere Kobna Boahen Nsem ni wiye mera court na already ekoswa yokofo they are confused na lawyer or they assembly court nyina confused, even witnesses nyina confused na etie for what the ekoswa omo say e kame say Yoko and Attorney General Dominic Ayine nim di omoka na enyeme pi about national security omontia say na ensem na e pinso enye adeketwa kora na already we are even Yoko ankasa investigator in some of the tuja etiefo chese obesere apai e ade e arefo se e kame say omunhu kotokuru omfa kora enhyem ama ensem no aye arefo se obi wo ho a ese ohwenie na empo ensem afi de omuka efa nkra de yenhu se ensuo eginama etiefo lawyer Paul much o ma bibia ye mre or breaking it down etiefo emra yenche ho yankuni ntie nsem ekoso na nsem atachia so de pemomo na afi de otimi se yokofo ayemre na Dominic Ayine oye lawyer Attorney General ono so wayemre se ya na afidie behwe bibia susan ede bode no eba befa emra echo yankuni nkuti emra sisia
who has stopped picking the calls of his friend, the Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, because he doesn't want, he's worried that if he picks Dominic Ayine's calls, maybe they are recording, and because of the culture of recording prosecution and Attorney Generals that we have seen in the past, Atta doesn't want to get involved in any of those things. So he told the media weeks ago that he doesn't pick Dominic Ayine's call, even though he's a very good friend, because of this matter. Now, where is the matter now? It's at what they call case management stage. The prosecution have brought a mountain of documents for the defense lawyers to look at. The reason why the prosecution has to do that is that the court criminal procedure requires that they should submit every document that they'll be relying upon, so that nothing comes as a surprise during the trial process, isn't it? Okay. Now, we're going to deal with the witness statement. The witness statement that the prosecution has released. So they released a witness statement of 3 people. One of them is an errand boy. One of them is a driver. And in the statement, some of which is relied on by Atacha in this report, we put this together after talking to the lawyers. So we put a test photograph there, but we put it together after talking to him. And we have to state that the publishing this, which is a response from it's not a response, but it's a sort of the version of the defense lawyers after the publication of the witness statements, because the witness statement found its way on Ghana web. It was all over. Prosecution leaked it, so it was published. So we got it and then went to the defense lawyers and said, this is the witness statement that is online. It looks like it's credible. And do you have it? They say, yes, we have it. It says, is it the same as you have here? What do you have to say about it? And they said something about it. In publishing this document, we are not suggesting in any way that this is how the court should rule. We do not know how the court should rule. Neither do we know how the court will rule. But we are educating our viewers on the point of a high public interest matter. That this is what the defense lawyers are saying to the witness statements that you may have seen online. Ghana Web, Joy Online, TTTV Online, Good Evening Ghana Official. You've seen it all over, isn't it? Metro TV Online, it's all there. So I will take you through what we gathered from the defense lawyers. It is by no means the point of judgment. It is by no means what the judges will do. We have no idea of what the judges will do. The law is in the bosom of the judge. So let's see it. It's entitled The Republic versus Boahen, first accused, Angela Eje Boatin, second accused, Milfred Donko, third accused, and Advantage Solutions is the fourth accused person. Let's go through it. Now, this is what the lawyers say. They say that the material witnesses in this case should be the former National Security Minister, Honorable Albert Kandapaa, and the former National Security Coordinator, Mr. Edward Asumani, who should make a positive judicial confession that Kwabena Boahen was a rogue national security head in charge of the National Signals Bureau, who has dishonestly misappropriated operational funds of the National Security Secretariat on their blind side. Now, why is Atacha saying this? Atacha is saying this because assuming we are prosecuting the Beza at Presec or Holy Child or Achimota School or St. Aquinas, and the Beza says that the money that you said that I have put in a separate account, the headmaster was aware of it. It was the headmaster and I who decided that we should open another account at UMB so that when the school fees comes, we divide it into two. Crops one, we call it 005. So if you see 005, it is the headmaster and I who agreed to do that. National Signals Bureau, his boss is the National Security Minister and the National Security Coordinator. If he has spent money unlawfully, it is money, and it's money that belongs to the national security apparatus. It is the national security bosses who should be the principal witnesses saying that we think that Tr0uble Boahen crossed the line. It should be them talking. So this is the first point Atacha makes, that the kinds of witnesses that they brought, people who really don't have power to check on what Tr0uble Boahen is doing, they are sent, go to bank, go and bring X hundreds of thousands of cedis. You go to here, go and bring this. Accountant, write to the bank that they should bring us this. So the fact that the guy comes and says, my boss sent me to go and take 500,000, I brought it to him. My boss sent me to go and take 600,000, I brought, might not be material in holding the accused person responsible. So that's the first point he makes. Let's move on. Be privy to, understand, and appreciate national security operations and the funding thereof. Regrettably, there's nothing in this witness statement which incriminates the accused person. These are the words of the lawyers. I don't know what the position that the judge will take, but these are the words of the lawyers. And we're sharing it with you as a matter of public interest. Now, he's saying here that the person that is your witness statement says of himself, so he sends me to the bank every Wednesday. About how much money do you collect? Hey, it's a lot of money. Oh, hey, my boss, when he sends me to the bank, money is in Ghana, must go back. It's a lot. What do you do with the money? Well, when I take it from the bank, sometimes I bring it to him. Sometimes I bring it here. And then it appears he was asked, do you send some to his wife? Because there's a headline who says that I did not send any money to Tr0uble Boahen. So he says, no, I didn't send any money to his wife. So the conversation here is that if you are prosecuting a boss and you want to find out that the boss of a national security system has misappropriated money, the way to do it is not to call his errand boy and say, yeah, he's sent to go to the bank. He doesn't know what it is for. He doesn't know. He just goes to collect the money and he brings it. But that is one of the principal witnesses for the prosecution. And the defense lawyers are suggesting that this might not work. But it depends on what the court will do. The next one, prosecution witness statement of Tr0uble Opoku Edumoa. And he says that, can we assume that the witness has obtained national security clearance to violate his oath of confidentiality and testify on matters of national security consequence and ramifications? As paragraph 7, the witness states the following, quote, the operational accounts, however, were managed by the director of the BNC and supervised by the National Security Coordinator. The defense lawyers are suggesting to us that inside the witness statement, there's a line which really reveals everything. And tonight we have letters to show you that indeed bosses of Tr0uble Boahen supervised the work that he was doing with those humongous sums of money. It says the operational, this is the witness speaking, that the operational account, this is a witness who works there. This is not just an errand boy. This is somebody who works there, and that's why they're asking whether he has had national security clearance. Anyway, you may say that the government can clear him and they don't have to tell the defense counsel. That's possible. But let's look here. 7 paragraph. It says, the operational accounts, however, were managed by the director of the BNC, which is the first accused Tr0uble Boahen, and supervised by the National Security Coordinator. So the question is, National Security Coordinator, did you truly supervise this account? Then if the prosecution is concerned about the way the accounts are supervised, they can charge the National Security Coordinator as A2 if they want. Let's move on and see a little bit more. Thus, he continues, thus checks were written on the instructions of the director of the BNC, and the reasons for payments were never disclosed to the head of finance. So the guy says that the account was supervised, this is in the witness statement, that the account was supervised by the National Security Coordinator. And so the checks that were written upon instructions of the BNC director, and the reasons for payment were never disclosed to him, head of finance, because it is supervised by them. They write a check, they don't tell him the reason why. That is the way in which things are done. They don't tell them the reason why. He says, and this is the point, it's a question: is this not a self-confession that at the level of operational accounts, not even the national security operatives may be able to interpret and come to terms with the reasons behind the expenditures? By this implication and necessary admission, how can anybody interpret expenditures touching on operational matters as misappropriated for personal gain? And I may add, without the confirmation of the boss, the national security minister, the national security coordinator. If you bring an errand boy to say, I took money, or you bring the head of finance who is saying to you that the way they do it there, I don't get to know what the money is for. It's between the national security coordinator and the BNC boss. They take the money and they do their operations. It's an operational account. I don't know it. Now, so coded is this operational account that if you look at the bank and the accounts, the check name, the checkbook, the name of the checkbook is a BNC account. But if you look at the email trail from the relationship between Iyoko and the banks in the investigation, the account is not called BNC. It is called the National Security Coordinator's account. That's the proper name. But the checkbook is not written as National Security Coordinator account because they don't want everybody in the bank. They print the checks, they bring it, and I'm going to say, hey, National Security account, hey, wait, no. So the checkbook bears a different name for the real account. So when the check comes to the bank and it goes to a teller and they see it and they enter it, they will see National Security account and they take it to their boss. But, hey, boss, there's brought some check, your people, please. And then they deal with it. So it is in the witness statement. So what the lawyers are telling us is that even if you look at their own witness statement, they have admitted that there's a hierarchy through which this process goes. And without that hierarchy, you cannot incriminate anyone. So now there's more that we have found in the laws of the National Signals Bureau Act that was passed by Parliament. And we're going to share that with you in a minute. Let me rush through it so we don't spend too much time. So this is a very important point I have to re-emphasize. And he says that it's a self-confession that at the level of operational account, not even national security operatives, that is those who work there, not even them may be able to interpret and come to terms with the reasons behind expenditures. By this implication and the necessary admission, how can anybody interpret expenditures touching on operational matters as misappropriated funds for personal gain? Obviously, the story goes on. Tr0uble is totally not aware that the private company by name BNC Communication Bureau Limited, which she asserts is owned and controlled by Boahen and his wife, and had a bank account with UMB Bank, was a national security arrangement engineered by the late Joshua Chairman at all material times, the National Security Coordinator, of course. So the point is that the national security operative that the investigators are talking to, the lawyers are suggesting to us that lady does not even know that this BNC account, which she thinks is owned by Boahen, was actually directed to be opened by Joshua Chairman. And we have a letter here to that effect. Let me read and I'll bring you the letter. The checks issued by the intended witness in the sums of 1 million, 21 million were mere mundane duties of a director of finance at the National Signals Bureau who did not have an understanding of what they were intended for. It is apparent that at her level there are some confidential matters in the realm of national security operations that she is not even permitted to know. On her own showing, the entire statement of the intended witness is of no evidential value, as she cannot pontificate what she does not know or even understand. Now, the point about it's not being of evidential value is a statement of the lawyers. As I said before, it doesn't mean that the court will accept that there's no evidential value. That doesn't mean that. The court may also accept. The court may not accept. But we are sharing it with you. It's a matter of public interest. It's very, very important that we share these things with you. Now, prosecution witness statement from Frank Marshall. So there's another guy, Frank Marshall Cromwell, who is the investigator. This is what they said. Frank Marshall Cromwell is an investigator of Iyoko and Iyoko's conveyor belt. He is merely relaying the suspicions and interpretations of matters Iyoko does not understand, by reason of the operational character of the previous national security arrangement, which to all intents and purposes, the previous Minister for National Security and the National Security Coordinator are custodians of those confidential and submarine undertakings. Perhaps the story continues. The entire investigation team have ignored Mr. Joseph Tr0uble's letter to Advantage Solutions to open the BNC Communication Bureau account with the UNB Bank. Again, Iyoko has mentioned ISC Holdings contract, but has failed or refused or neglected to make ISC Holding a material witness to consolidate their case of a ruse of a supply of cybersecurity equipment. Now, what's he saying? The point he's making is that the contract between the national security and the ISC has been part of the conversation, that they could see some money moved to ISC. And he's saying that the allegations from the investigators is that this ISC contract was used as a ruse for people to steal money. That's really part of the case they are making. And the defense opinion is that if truly ISC account or ISC contract to supply was used as a ruse to steal money, how come that the ISC is not a witness? How come that the ISC is not a witness? So the lawyers took the opportunity to write to ISC and said, we have heard that you are in a matter. Come and tell us what happened. Did you truly supply equipment or did you not? I'll come to the ISC letter. Please get it ready. I'll call it for it very soon. It goes on to say that there's a gaping hole in the prosecution's case against the backdrop that the cybersecurity equipment has been duly supplied by the ISC Holdings to the benefit of the national security of Ghana. Equally, there's a huge assumption that the designation of what the sum of 49 million of over 49 million for the acquisition of a cybersecurity equipment is what the heads of national security intended the money to be used for. Indeed, Iyoko is bereft of, that's the West, understanding that classifications of expenditure could be decoys for other operational purposes. Now, what he's trying to say here is that the investigators are misleading themselves. That's what he's saying. The investigators don't think they are misleading themselves, but this is what the point he's making. That the investigators are misleading themselves because they are assuming that 49.1 million, which they saw in the account, was all intended to pay for the cybersecurity equipment. No, it wasn't. The cybersecurity equipment was paid out of that. And in fact, it's not all the cybersecurity money that was paid out of that account. They run different accounts and pay different things from different places. So they pay the cybersecurity out of that, and then they use the rest for other things, which was sanctioned by the hierarchy. That's really the point. Okay, let's move on and see what else we have. It says that there is no nexus between the properties listed and the crime Iyoko is trying to urge upon the court. If the properties were acquired through the proceeds of a crime, then the acquisition should be contemporaneous with the lodgement of 49 million lodged in the BNC Communication Bureau Limited accounts with the UNB. A lot of properties. He bought 27 houses. He has some estates in Fafraha and all of that. Is it Fafraha or somewhere they mentioned in Achimota or so? So the opinion of the defense is that you must, as one of those instances, ask me that, tie evidence between the amount of money being discussed at the time it was in the bank and at the time that these properties were bought. So if, for instance, you are investigating a 49 million matter which occurred in 2020 and properties had been acquired in 2017, and because you see that the properties are for the accused person, you say that, oh, he also has properties, but the properties were acquired before the 49 million scandal or whatever that you are investigating, then it doesn't really add up. Now, the defense opinion also is that those properties do not belong to Kwabena Boahen and his wife. That is a business they do. Kwabena Boahen and his wife have a platform where people give them money for them to build their houses for them. So those 27 houses are owned by 27 people, and Boahen's company is the platform that is aggregating that. The houses do not belong to him. And there are companies who do that. They have big land somewhere, they buy the land, they've had that land for 18 years, and then they say, yeah, we have land, so we are going to distribute the land. You pay us, we start building for you. Pay us, we build for you. We have a block making factory here, we have a stone quarry here, we have a da-da-da. So you just give us money, we build for you. That's the business that they do, and this verifiable. So you have to connect, and then they say some cars. You have to connect the 49 million with some of these things at the minimum, and that's still not a basis to convict, I think. But at the minimum, you need to put that together before we move ahead, isn't it? All right. So that's what they're saying. It says that they are yet to verify Index 15 series, which connects the property acquisitions with the process of the so-called crime. The same, the ICS letter, which we obtained from the lawyers, is part of the court document, so we can show it to you. Do we have it in blue? Yes. It's attention to Samuel Atachian. It's June 3rd, 2025. It says, response to your mail dated 28, delivery of cybersecurity equipment to Ghana's national security and a defamatory statement of and concerning the transaction by the Attorney General. Okay, it says that greetings from International so an international security consultants firm incorporated under the law of Israel with headquarters in Israel. First, we take this opportunity to emphasize that our response to Mr. Boahen during his duty as the Director General of the National Signals Bureau. Our company operates globally in the field of blah blah blah. Okay, our consultants are seasoned professionals with Let's jump to the next paragraph. We are known for delivering confidential, cutting-edge security solutions, adapting tailor-made solutions for our clients, including third-party strategies, allies with the domain of cyber defense system. We certainly do not know what we are. We certainly do know what we are about as a company. We hereby declare, and for the avoidance of any doubt, that all cyber defense systems procured by the NSB, supplied under a confidential agreement signed on the 30th of January 2020 with an associated continuing service covenant, were fully delivered to Ghana's National Security Council, National Security. We remain available for any clarification or formal engagements your office may deem appropriate. And they said that they delivered it under, see what they called it, a confidential agreement. It suggests that Parliament may have to look at this agreement just in camera, because the national security have gone into a confidential agreement. So these are the matters on the update of Kwabena Boahen's situation. This one is, it says that we wish the best for Kwabena Boahen. However, please note that ICS did not have any business relations with Kwabena Boahen's wife. They said that ICS wishes all the best for Kwabena Boahen. Please note that ICS did not have any relationship with Mrs. Angela Ej Boating. They didn't have any relationship, but they don't know anything about her. So they did their work and delivered it. So this is what is happening right now. We are waiting to see what happens next and which kind of witnesses will be called. But as a result of the national security accounts of I believe 2020, which is part of the court process right now from the prosecution side, defense lawyers are urging themselves to also write to the court and ask for the national security account since 1992, operational account since 1992, so that we will have other people come and testify on how much money has been used to do this and that and that. And they worry because they say that will be putting national security on trial. This is the story of Kwabena Boahen so far. Happily, he's at home and he goes to his lawyers every now and then. I've seen him; he's a very good spirit. And he insists that he's innocent. He has not done anything wrong. He has not stolen anybody's money. The 27 houses they talk about is not his houses. He's a builder and he's building for people, and etc. etc. Yes, he makes money from them, but that was before. They say he has some stolen cars. We're waiting for them to come and say how the cars were stolen and what happened to it, and then we can deal with it. But this is from the defense side. We don't know what the courts will do, as we always say. So we will wait to see what the courts will do. But I'm sure that justice will be served in the interest of the people of Ghana.